Told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Ran to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with taking the back street? You never shine if you don't go. Go! Never shine if you don't go. Wow.
Hey now.
Welcome to the Business on Top podcast with Shane Chernoff, Vijay Patel, and Ben Siegel.
What is wrong with you?
What do you mean what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
No, what's wrong with you?
No, what's wrong with you? You're projecting. You stop projecting on me.
Favorite Taco Bell item? Go.
Ever or right now? I guess it's the same.
Just answer the question.
Hello?
Lois, I can't take out the garbage because I'm at the office and they're making me stay late.
Peter, the caller ID says you're calling from the kitchen. In fact, I can see you.
Can you see me now?
No.
Okay, now I'm at the office.
Business on Top podcast.
Arthur, honk if you love justice!
Back in the game, episode 3 of the Business on Top podcast. Shane Chernoff here with Vijay Patel and Ben Siegel. We're in a new venue. We are in my new place. Over the weekend, I risked life and limb to move apartments 10 minutes down the road. I am hopped up on pain medication right now because my shoulder and neck are killing me. So I have no idea what I'm going to say, and neither do either of these guys. So with that being
usual.
like usual. So with that being said, we've got some Taco Bell in front of us, and we're ready to do the show. I'm going to power through. That's what we do for you here on the Business on Top podcast. We play hurt. But, you know, moving was kind of an interesting experience for me because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but Ben, you were in Chicago, right? I know that was probably an interesting move for you, having to do it across states.
Yeah, pack everything up, throw it in the car, and not only do you have to, worry about once you get there moving everything in, but you got to make sure your car doesn't break down on the way there, which I have a bad track record, anyone that knows me with car problems.
Your car was on the older side too, right?
Yep, 15 years old. She made it in one piece back into Florida as well. Very fortunate for that. But you try to pack light, try to bring just what you need, nothing extra. But the problem is you always come back with more than you bring, and I didn't factor that in, of course. And let's just say moving out was a lot harder than moving in.
Yeah, I feel like that's always the case. And I've broken down too on the highway. It's not a good feeling.
Do you have like a terrible road trip story? Because one of our friends who we all know and love and miss very dearly, and we hope he comes back from Colorado sometime soon. I was
keep putting that plug in.
my first semester at Tallahassee, we hopped in my old 06 Toyota Corolla, which I still have. She got 130,000 miles, and I'm hoping I can get her to 300. We can do it. I can carry a whole segment on how great 06 through 08 Corollas were. But back to the story. Tractor trailer driving up behind us, blows a tire, hops up and bounces off the road, and then takes out my condenser. So we got to drive. This is probably, I would say, early to late August, probably right around this time of year. But we're driving back from Tallahassee. It's a 6-hour drive for you folks who are listening to us around the world, huddled around your transistor radios and iPods. But that's a 6-hour drive with the windows down, and that was a total disaster. I don't think I've ever actually broken down, though.
Oh, be thankful.
Oh yeah, it was a bad time. I remember coming down from Gainesville when, I think it was my junior year. I was moving back down from my dorm, back home for the summer, and I was almost home. I think it was around Port St. Lucie. About an hour left on the drive, and I was driving our 04 Expedition, a tank, but I might have had too much weight in the car, I mean, I had like bed frame, mattress, and like half my
something on the
room.
roof.
Oh,
onto the
I was
roof.
just gonna say-
I was holding onto the roof.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, what's wrong? You just weren't doing enough cardio back then.
Oh my goodness, it was bad. But I broke down when the spark plugs like flew out in the engine, and I had to call AAA. We had to get the car towed. It was 100 plus degrees outside because it was summertime in Florida, which is, as we all know,
Yeah,
the
brutal.
worst.
Yeah.
I think my drive back up, I don't think I've heard any car story as worse than the one I had going back up to school.
At FSU.
Yeah, we actually were leaving for a bowl game like the next day, so I had to be up there. It was the week of Christmas, and
Yeah, do you want to let people on the show know, what you're talking about? Because you used to work for the Florida State
I
football
worked at
team.
Florida State, student equipment manager for 4 years, and then interned in the NFL for a couple seasons. Loved it. Did it for 7 years total. Was a grind, but I don't regret any. It was awesome. Worked a lot of hours, met a lot of cool people, did a lot of things that I would have never ever been able to do.
Couple natties.
Not working in the sports. One natty,
Oh yeah,
but
that's right.
we'll save that for another.
Close
show.
together.
Yeah.
And hint, we might have a pretty good Florida
Hopefully.
State football related guest for you in the next
Hopefully.
episode. Just stay tuned,
Hopefully.
boys and girls.
But yeah, I was driving back up, and on the way down, actually, my car was making just a weird noise, so I brought it in, and I told them, like, I needed the car back in 2 days, so if they could, like, fix it quick, and got the car back, and the noise was even louder, and the mechanic said, like, don't worry about it, you'll be fine getting up to school. So I hop on the turnpike at 6 in the morning.
And that's always fun. Trust the mechanic
Yeah.
who says, "Don't worry, you're
Don't
gonna
worry.
get there just
it
fine."
sounds like a helicopter's taking off in your trunk, but don't worry about it. You'll be good.
It'll be
It's
cool.
like, all right, yeah, cool. I'll just turn the radio up to like volume 80 so I could drown out the helicopter.
That'll fix
taking
everything.
And we're just
yeah.
like a bunch of dumb grad students,
Yeah, I was
right?
like,
So it's like
sure,
we're not gonna challenge the mechanic.
Yeah,
like, what do
right.
we know?
So I hop in my car, I leave, and like 30 minutes in, this sound does not sound normal. I call my parents, I'm like, yeah, this does not sound good. And they're like, oh, there's a car driving around? I was like, yeah, other than the sound. And they're like, all right, just keep going. And 30 seconds later, I heard a sound, lost control of the car. Luckily, it was early enough in the morning, no one was on the road, so I was able to pull over. And AAA showed up, and he said, you don't have a rear right tire. And I said, all right, well, that explains why I lost control of the car. Apparently, it was not tightened well enough by the mechanic, and it flew off one exit before I pulled over. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That-
lucky I
that's a
didn't
tough
die or
story,
crash.
Yeah, I have like a pretty similar story, but I'll keep mine short. Driving back up to I don't know why are these all Tallahassee trips, but driving back up to Tallahassee, I'm on the turnpike, and I hear a motorcycle, and I look behind me, and there's no motorcycle. And then the motorcycle turns into like a flapping sound, and then I realize that my right rear tire also is gone.
Really?
And yeah,
So if you hear a motorcycle and or a helicopter from the rear of your car,
It's the back
it's
right
not
tire.
normal. Do not turn the radio up. Your tire is about to fly over.
yeah. Don't ignore it. Your tires are probably dry rotted, which I found out on the back end, and now I'm super conscious about. If anyone would like me to come check their tires to see if they're dry rotted, I'm an expert in that.
We're certified mechanics.
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
So
After going through the ringer with all that.
I would like to take this opportunity to remind everybody that the Baltimore Orioles, who Ben said would not win a game this season, are 3 games above 500. And although they lost the other night, they are losing again to the Blue Jays 5-1. That would have been funnier. That would have been funnier if they were winning.
But I think they would still be in the playoffs if the season ended today, which I can't figure out.
Well,
can't figure out.
When we talked about it, we said it was just going to be an unpredictable season, and honestly,
Sure.
like who knows what'll happen.
I'm still sticking with my prediction that the Orioles will finish the season under 500, bottom of the division. They're not going to keep this up. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not giving up.
I want to take this opportunity to ask you guys, what is your favorite new thing about the baseball season that you wish will stick around? And I'll start with mine. and I found this really funny as I watch these games around the league, where you'll have a player, he hits it high, he hits it deep, going back to the power alley, left center field, and then boom, you hear the sound of the baseball crushing off the cardboard and taking off the head of like some old guy named Gary who's going bald and his ex-wife doesn't pay enough attention to him anymore, so he had to get a cardboard cutout of himself to put in the left field bleachers.
I was gonna say I think that's my favorite part so far this season. Those cardboard cutouts of people, which we have to apply for, by the way. I
Yeah,
think we
or
need
the
to get on
virtual
that.
fan for the NBA.
Yeah.
I think, of course, my favorite part is with no fans, you can hear everything. So when a player pops up, then there's no time delay. You just hear, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of sound.
Yeah. So it's
Absolutely, and like I've always thought that, look, Hard Knocks is so popular because is Hard Knocks uncensored? They don't bleep it, do they?
No, they
no,
don't.
I think it's
So-
uncensored.
It's episode 1's out on YouTube.
So you essentially get like the baseball version of that, except you're like watching it live during the game.
Yeah.
I feel like people, I don't know, would you guys pay a little extra to watch that? I feel like I say I would, but
I would.
I don't think I would pay.
I always wondered what people like. What are the players saying when they strike out or pitcher, I don't know, gives up a home run?
Well, they've been doing that in
Under the
spring
breath.
training. Like Mookie Betts is the first one that comes to mind. You know, players started getting mic'd up in the
Yeah.
middle of the game.
That's
and, you
fun.
know, like out in the field, and you can hear them, like, you know, like Mookie Betts' case, there was a ball hitting the gap.
Oh,
And he was like, yeah, guys, I'm not getting this. Like, hauling ass to the
I
ball.
remember that was one of my favorite mic'd up
it's-
moments.
and especially from an MLB who has a hard time like marketing their athletes. Like they're way behind the NBA and the NFL. Like if the MLB did stuff like that, they would probably draw in more fans because you could connect to them as human beings. You know, like these guys are saying the same thing as you're out in the field. Like if ball's hit over your head, you know, you're cursing, you're hauling
Oh
ass. like,
shit!
yeah.
I misjudged that
Yeah,
one.
like
Yeah,
these guys do.
I think
too,
it would be
so.
great.
Yeah.
So that's interesting for me that you say that they have a hard time connecting with younger fans, because for the three of us, baseball has been a passion of ours for a long time. And I kind of look around at other sports to see like what's popular now. You have the NFL, because football has been very popular for a long time. You know, you have your NBA and UFC, and the reason why I think those latter two have been popular is because they kind of center themselves around storylines, right? Like even if you're looking at what the NBA playoffs are like right now, it's Carmelo Anthony on his like redemption arc trying to go up against LeBron and the Lakers.
Yep.
Which is
Skinny
crazy.
Mello.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah, that guy got. Speaking of people who got shredded during quarantine,
Yeah.
I love it.
me and him, baby, Melo and me are boys.
Well, they also play that, you know, the hero and villain role because, you know, like Russell Westbrook, I feel like is the villain, or even you could say LeBron and like a guy like Luka Doncic or Giannis are like the heroes, quote unquote, or like you have guys that kind of
Just like the younger guys that are compelling.
Yeah.
You kind of want to tune in because you don't know like what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They could just work, you know, a veteran and make them look stupid in
Yeah.
a given night, and they're
Yeah.
just. I mean, these guys are freaks. I mean, basketball in the '90s was one thing because you know that was. I don't know
Physical.
the way you guys remember it. Yeah, it was like much more defense-oriented basketball.
Mhm.
But you know, these days what you have is just like guys stepping out. They can shoot from anywhere. You have guys that like wouldn't have in the '90s wouldn't have touch around the rim, like
Yeah. The 90s was
beyond
just
10
brute
feet. And now you
Get
have
knocked out.
Damian Lillard pulling up from the logo and hitting it, and you're just like, yeah, that's normal.
force. Yeah.
Freaks.
I think
Freak
that's.
talent.
I blame Steph Curry for all these kids coming up, just pulling up from anywhere on the court.
Well, I think that's what makes the game more exciting. And then on the other hand, like because they've taken advantage of the math of the game, right? Like Steve Kerr and you know some of the analytics guys from the Warriors all sat down in a room and was like, well, we got a ton of. Like, I just imagine them sitting in a boardroom and being like, well, we got a ton of shooters, right? Yeah. They can hit 3-point shots, right? Yeah. And three's worth more than two, right? Yeah. Okay. So crazy idea. How about we just let all our guys step out and just shoot the shit out of the wall
Yeah.
and
I mean,
constantly
why not?
create three, and it
works.
turned into one of the, you know, I would say one of the two dynasties of that decade.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Heat in the first half of the decade, and you had the Warriors who came on later in that decade. I mean, the only time that you saw somebody who threatened either one of those guys was Kawhi Leonard, who ended both of those teams. Remember,
Yeah.
he beat LeBron before he went out.
Spurs
Yeah.
and-
All right, this is getting a little bit too sportsy. Let's go back to baseball. How are we going to get the kids interested in baseball? Who's got the best hair in baseball? You know, Ben, you and I were talking about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette's a nominee.
Bryce Harper's
Bryce
up there.
Harper, you definitely got to think about.
Garrett Cole's got some good lettuce. Our guys have got good flow. I mean,
Can I give you guys a throwback? You guys remember Coco Crisp with like the giant afro?
Oh, you're talking about? I thought you were talking about current players, but.
Oh, I mean, we can do it anywhere. We can
Yeah.
do. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
Reggie Jackson has some good stuff. Who is like the well? I guess Pedroia has the worst hair, right?
yeah. Well,
Like-
no, I mean, hair is like a loose
Lack
term.
thereof.
Yeah. No, it just comes down to baseball's got to be more marketable with their players. However that may be, whether it be miking up guys or getting
Take steroids and start hitting.
Yeah, or
buttons,
just
you know,
Bring back
Just
hashtag. Bring back the steroid era.
Bring back Barry. Let's go.
yeah, but
You guys think Barry Bonds can hit 200 today?
batting
How old is
average.
he?
Yeah.
How old is he?
If Mike Zunino's hitting 100, I think
Is
Barry
he
Bonds
50?
can hit.
Yeah,
Let's find out.
Oh no, he couldn't right now.
I think he can get 200. A hit every
I
five
don't.
at bats.
I don't know if he can hit two.
I mean,
don't know if
there
he
are
can
guys who are
hit
hitting like
200.
130 right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to see his bat speed, but I mean, the guy, the year that he retired was.
He just has to sit off speed and pray like someone throws like a splitter in the zone or a changeup and just
Just
like,
pay a
takes
picture
it out
before
to
the
him.
game.
Also, what I
Yeah,
think
just
you guys
throw
are.
one down the middle.
Yeah. Also, what I think you guys are discounting is that Barry Bonds had one of the best eyes
Yeah.
Oh,
in terms
absolutely.
of like batter's eyes in the history of the game.
One of the best
But
players ever. Yeah.
Not great hair. At least not as good as hair as Harper or Bichette.
He had no hair.
Coming up later in the show, we are going to discuss what shampoo we think MLB players use, plus what order are we washing ourselves in the shower. You're going to want to stick around for that.
Oh.
And we're back on the Business on Top podcast. I am hopped up on a cocktail of pain medication after my moving injuries. Shane Chernoff, we're back here. Speaking of being exhausted playing hurt, there was a 5 overtime hockey game that was played last week, and I just could not imagine. Look, I know what it's like to play one game of baseball, one game of flag football. Usually these days, at 28, going on 29, I would be sore the next day.
So old.
Yeah, isn't it so
I'm
bad?
trying
Well,
to think
we're
about
going
the
into our
age
prime.
number.
Isn't it?
30 is the prime.
You know what's tough though?
Yeah,
It's tough thinking about like movies and shows that came out. It's like The Hangover, right? You feel like it's a recent movie that came out 11 years ago. There are people in college that were 7 years old when that
Our
movie
high
came
school
out.
reunion.
10 years.
10 years this year.
10 years.
Well, it was supposed to be.
Well, yeah.
Our reunion is not happening now. We can do it via Zoom. Has anyone
I would
discussed?
not do a 10-year Zoom.
No. Yeah, I would not accept that.
I barely want to do it in person. But
That's a whole nother topic.
That's another topic.
Spanish River class of 2010, I love you. Playing equivalent of almost 3 hockey games, right? Because was it the 6th overtime or the 5th?
It was
5,
5,
right?
yeah.
I think it was halfway through the 5th overtime that there was a goal, and I just can't imagine like at that level playing that many games. I mean, it has to probably hurt them going into the next round.
Were
right?
they had all the starters in 5 overtimes? Or how's that working? Like, did they substitute like more often?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like there were guys that were out there. I mean, your top line guys, your top defensive pairings, and your top 3 forwards are going to be out there the most. But there were people who had already logged 60 minutes of ice time, meaning like
That's crazy.
that you essentially had them out there for the equivalent of an entire hockey game. And usually, you're going to get significantly less ice time than that because your shifts, for those people who don't know, hockey shifts are full on shifts is the word that I was saying there.
No.
Shifts.
Let's say the coaches on the sideline like chugging monsters and
Yeah.
shotgun.
I think
Yeah,
yeah.
they got
Say,
the the smelling salt.
smelling
It's
salt.
like-
Yeah, there wasn't smelling salt.
yeah.
Who did that? LSU's coach or
Oh,
what's his name?
everyone does
Les
it.
Miles used
Yeah.
to eat grass.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you got to do to make it work. But hockey's been successful playing in a bubble. But who hasn't been planning on playing in a bubble is college football, and it's a topic that everybody's talking about right now, especially as my sister and a lot of people that we know try to return to school. Ben, you and I were talking about something happened at UNC recently where the case
today.
rate ended up skyrocketing.
Yeah, I read right before we started this. They had 130 students test positive after their first week on campus. It's like, I mean, what did they
What'd you
realistically
expect?
expect? I mean, these kids, they're not wearing masks all the time. I mean, let's be real. Just keep it online. Keep everyone safer. I mean, even when we were in college, we were taking online classes. I mean, everyone was signing up for if
You wanted online
yeah, you
classes
wanted
back
online,
then.
right? That was like preferred. Just keep it online. It's just a disaster, but
I digress.
yeah, I mean that's why the Big Ten and the Pac-12 canceled football. But this is where like the hot topic, because they canceled it with the to saying like their student safety is their top priority, but it's like
But it doesn't-
they plan on having in-person classes.
Yeah,
so
it
what's
doesnn-
football.
It's a money.
Sorry, Ben. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
No, you're
It's
good.
a podcast.
It's a podcast.
But yeah, well, as a famous Miami Herald journalist once said, Simon and Garfunkel made a great career out of interrupting one another. But the major point is, if these colleges are really prioritizing safety, I don't understand. There seems to be some kind of a disconnect here, where you're fine having your players sit out the season, but you're okay just welcoming your regular students in and out of the classroom, going to bars and restaurants. I don't quite understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I guess it's hard. To their credit, if you're playing devil's advocate, it is a hard territory to navigate, because this is the first time any of us are dealing with any of this. But at the same time, if these guys want to play, I don't know, because they're still kids. I go back and forth on that one all the time.
Yeah, but these, especially football, I mean, they're getting tested twice a week, and once they're in season, they're going to be getting tested even more than that. So it's not like they're just winging it, I just have a hard time believing that
It's hard to like do a contact sport like football, because we all know that football is the big money making sport, and logistically it's easier to have certain sports go forward. Like the PGA Tour has been great because they've been testing their players often. They've been able to isolate their players after a few positives, but like it's easy to spread out. I mean, football, you're standing next to 11 guys on each side of the field, and you're in close contact with any one of them at any given time. So it's really hard to actually social distance these guys.
But couldn't you make the argument? I mean, if these guys are all getting tested and they're all supposedly negative for game day, then there shouldn't be a worry, especially if there's no fans.
Well,
What are the possibilities that everyone's negative? Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
what they're testing.
Like
Yeah.
the SEC, the ACC, who are planning to come back.
I guess, and welcome back to Business on Top podcast, brought to you by Colt 45 and 2 Zigzags.
What a shame.
Maybe that's all you need.
That song doesn't get played, and no one's ever gonna show. Well, not no one ever, but no one's ever gonna hear that song. No one's gonna know about that song other than our generation.
Yeah, pretty much. That's very
Can you
tight
name a
window
time
to
you've
listen
heard
to
that
this
song played like in
No.
public or like
Wait,
at a
no,
bar?
I guess you can't play it in public.
Wait, who sings that song? I forgot.
It's
Cool.
Afro Man.
Afro Man.
Yeah.
Afro Man also did Because I Got High,
Yep.
which is another
Another song you won't
classic
ever
song.
hear.
Like, I mean, how many songs? I guess like that was this. Like we have, what is it? WAP now. WAP is the the big deal. Have you guys heard that song?
The WAP?
I think I have. No, WAP.
WAP. No, there's like there's a recent one. Boy, now we really sound like the old people.
Like
Yeah.
Fetty Wap?
No, well, it's spelled the same way,
WAP.
but it's like a rap song, and I forgive me, whoever the artist is. I don't know who it is, but it's like a really like fun.
Right? Isn't there a girl?
Is it? Hang on, let me look it up. It's a really like fun, apparently raunchy song that a lot of old white guys are getting up in arms about.
That's the demographic that's getting into
That's kind of funny.
old
Yeah.
white guys.
Okay, so it's Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, yes.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if I pronounced that properly. It might just be Megan Thee Stallion, but
They're in the
apparently
music.
apparently it's pretty good stuff. But it's like one of those songs that I'm sure like Kids Bop is gonna have to remix it to make it super
It's
clean.
gonna be. You're not getting any words because on
Kids Bop 2020.
Yeah. Kids, this is gonna bankrupt Kids Bop because they're gonna have to like pay people to work around the clock to make the lyrics not raunchy.
Speaking of Kids Bop, what now? What now number you think they're on?
Oh man, that's a good question. I can actually find that out right now.
Sound you
Let me
like-
go around the room.
What's
and we're gonna ask each of us what now that's what I call music are we on? If they're still going,
Yeah.
the pandemic might have killed them.
I don't even know if they.
That would be very disappointing.
They did up
commercials.
until recently because I saw like a really high number once. I was like,
Oh, alright, what's your number?
What now? What do I now? What now? That's what I call music. Episode? Do you think we're on?
Alright, yo, that's.
So you'd say, I'd say as a kid, I remember like Now 8. I would say is the last one I remember.
Oh, that was the one that I got that as my birthday
Or like
present in
Aaron
fourth
Carter
grade.
or something on it.
Do you remember what the first track of Now 8 was? Because I do.
What?
It was On Here by Nelly. Nelly.
Oh.
That was Nelly.
So that was
That's what I was
probably
trying
what whatever.
Oh, 304
Oh, 3-4.
I'm
ish.
gonna guess Now 67.
Ooh, I think you went too low. I'm gonna guess now 116.
Holy sh!
116? I'm gonna go in the middle of those and say 100.
Okay, you're gonna be
I think
you're gonna be the
I'll fall.
douchebag from The Price is Right that goes one underneath me. Now 115.
wait.
No, I might win if you guys both went over. I
Hang
win.
on. Oh, are we doing Price is Right rules?
What do I
Alright.
win? That's the question.
Let's see.
I win whatever's in this box. Hopefully this
Okay.
actually top.
Now that's what I call music.
Fresh tacos.
Discography, United States. We are on episode 75.
Yeah.
Wow. that's funny. I couldn't believe it. I swear to God, I thought we were in the triple digits.
Wow.
That's interesting. So hang on.
Not too
Do you guys want to do something fun? Let's go back to now.
No,
Let's-
we don't like fun here.
Okay.
In the business on top.
Okay.
It's all
No
business.
fun allowed.
Now,
All business.
now that's what I call music. Volume 1. Do you guys want to take a guess at any songs or even artists that
What
might be
year?
on there?
Backstreet
What year was
Boys.
that?
This was Backstreet Boys is a good guess because it was October 27th, 1998.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys, one of the boy bands.
Got one.
NSYNC. Let's go there.
No
Oh, they
NSYNC.
came after.
No NSYNC.
Yeah, they were after.
Christina Aguilera.
Ooh. No.
Shakira.
No. I mean, this is like far back. So Janet Jackson's on here.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Jackson's probably.
Hanson is on here.
Bob.
Yes, it was
The only
Bob.
song
Track
that's
track
worth the shit
9.
that they've ever made.
Yeah.
My timeline's all messed up. I don't even. 98?
Barbie Girl was on here. I can't. Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. Like, was there a time where like high school kids were listening to Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz?
Of course, yeah.
That just seems like very odd to me. That even like now when I listen to or just watch like old stuff from the early 2000s, it's like funny that when we were in high school we actually used to listen to like things like alt rock.
Linkin Park.
We were all listening to Blink. We were all listening
Green Day.
to Linkin Park.
Green Day.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Gorillaz,
Over.
The
Who?
Gorillas.
It's like dad music now. Oh man, Gorillaz was good.
Yeah.
That
You
was
remember those like animated?
Yeah.
The animated
We're out
music
dating
videos?
ourselves
Yeah.
a lot.
it,
Times.
if you guys could go see one band in concert of all time, like you could even bring one back from back in the day, who would it be?
Beatles.
Huh?
Like 182.
Yeah, I mean Blink is
They still do.
They're still touring.
Blink had played a
I
couple
want
of
to
like in their prime, right?
90s.
Right. Like I want the Who, but like
the Who's good.
early 1970s the Who, like Pinball Wizard, like in their prime, because I think we all remember when they played the Super Bowl. They were a little bit low energy because the guys are. That was one for the senior center. That was one for my dad. But
no, the Beatles I thought was a good one just because we never saw them in our lifetime. But
I think John Lennon peed in the shower.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Sure.
if he truly was a legend, I feel like he might have. But we've got some shower thoughts for you. This is a fun way that we always try to close the show. There are all sorts of things that you think of in the shower. It's just you got nothing to do. You're washing and
Washing your
you're
body,
you're just
and your hair.
yeah, exactly, the right way. But you're just alone with your thoughts. And Ben, I don't know if you wanted to start us off. What was your shower thought?
Since the last time I started, you guys lead off.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
I was thinking about this on my way home, so this is more of like a driving at home thought, but I have run out of Instagram content to actually post. Now, I'm not talking about like story where you just like post a picture of like good food. I'm talking about something worthwhile that lasts to have on your feed. I don't go out of town anymore, although I have seen people be on vacation and go places. I have nothing to post. I go to work, I come home, we do the podcast, which is fun, but we have our own account for that show. I have truly run out of content, so I don't know, maybe I need to go on like a hike somewhere. I need to go drive up to the mountains and go on like a nature hike. If anybody has any fun nature trails around here in Florida, feel free to send them to us at Business on Top Pod. But I've run out. I've got nothing left. My Instagram is no longer interesting, so feel free to unfollow me.
Do you think
So yours
people?
is done? Wait, what?
I'm in the same boat. I don't think I've made a post probably since Super Bowl, when I worked at Super Bowl.
I just made a workout post, and I don't want to post me twice in a row. It's a little egomaniacal. I just want I want to see nature or some architecture, go somewhere, but obviously this day and age is tough.
Do you think a lot of people right now specifically are traveling or doing stuff specifically for social media purposes?
Now? Probably not. I would say I think people are legitimately stir crazy and want to go somewhere to explore, but I'm sure there are people that are. If we'll play a game called Google this for our listeners. If you are listening to this, Google the story about how the social media influencer got into the fight with a hotel owner about her asking to stay for free in exchange for a shout out on social media. That's a fun one. I think it was a British hotel. Have you guys heard that story?
No, but I believe it.
So long story short, she sent an email to this guy who like ran it was almost like a bed and breakfasty hotel. It definitely wasn't a chain. She was like, if you let me stay here, I'll post on social media. If you let me stay here for free, I'll post on social media, and I'll let you, take advantage of that for the publicity, and I'll stay here for free. And basically, the response that she got was "F off." There was a big prolonged social media comment war back and forth, and everybody took the guy's side. And the guy started making T-shirts with the comment thread where he just owned her, and ended up making so much money on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to. We'll share that on the Business on Top Pod page, but
That's a pretty good one.
yeah, that's a fun story that took us totally off track from where we're going. But that's how we do it here at Business on Top. We just take the content where it goes, and we just meander around. And speaking of meandering around, VJ, I believe you have a shower thought for us.
Because of your rant, I forgot what I was thinking.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to filibuster. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. So my shower thought of the week is, it's kind of random, but you know how there's been a lot of lootings recently with the stuff going on,
Protests.
the protests and all that stuff. All the looting, the people that loot stores. The security cameras in all these stores seem to be the worst security cameras I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
You guys ever
my
think
gosh.
how
It's
you
so
have-
grainy.
How let's say the NFL, when a touchdown goes, like they can get a blade of grass to show up on screen. When you're on a roller coaster, they take pictures of you going at 80 miles an hour on a roller coaster, crystal clear pictures of you. But when somebody goes into a store and loots a store, you can't get.
It's like
you can't
you're
even
watching
see.
Cops in like '97.
You're looking at pixels,
That's the
like-
photo.
Yeah,
Like old
there-
Nintendo
I
64
think
games.
I think like we haven't improved on the CCTV picture quality in like a long time, and yeah, I totally agree with you. There needs to be some kind of like quality standard where you're not seeing stuff in like 7p.
Yeah.
I think we need.
Like the
I think
first
we need
scene.
at least like 260p these days, because otherwise, what we've got right now, it really isn't
Not
quite
catching
cutting it.
Yeah.
Just put an iPhone on the freaking
Yeah, it's
corner.
good
It's way better than whatever they have now.
Small businesses probably just rolling with like if it's not broken, don't fix it, and if the camera still works and it's still recording, like they
Yeah,
probably
but
can't
it's like
afford
that.
I agree. I mean, at this point in the world, I mean, there's Face ID technology. Like our phone unlocks by looking at our face. You can't tell me there's not cameras that like can somehow
tiny bit
scan a
better.
face. Even cameras that
Yeah.
can scan a face and tell you who the robber is. or
Right.
whatever.
So that's my shout. That was pretty
Solid.
decent. All right.
No, and yeah, that's interesting
You're
stuff.
getting me going. I was about to get heated.
So-
Get up right now.
So next week on the podcast, we're gonna have the person who invented the camera. We're going to have a medium on our show, and whoever invented the camera is going to come on and join us.
All right.
But that's our show.
No, wait, we got
whoa.
Ben. Wait, we forgot about Ben.
One more shower.
Oh, did we not do yours?
No.
Yo, your medications are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you guys are just joining us, I'm hopped up on pain medication because I moved over the weekend and my back and neck and shoulder are killing me.
All right, so I'll make it quick, but this I think will blow you guys' mind. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about this. So we'll start with the classic line. Have you ever thought of, or have you guys ever caught yourself thinking about this? But either when you've hand sanitized or washed your hands or gotten back and taken your mask off, how, if any of those times washed COVID-19 off of your body or stopped COVID-19 from entering your body from wearing a mask. Have you ever thought about like that one time you washed your hands? If you didn't,
That's like kind of my motivator for why I wash my hands. I always just like assume that I have it, and
that's
if I
good,
don't,
but a lot
yeah.
of people don't. Have you ever, like, I've always thought about that where it's like, oh, you know, again, like, could be on me. I mean, that's obviously a crazy ass thought, but
It's a good thought.
shower thought.
I
There-
don't know how you get.
Yeah,
Well,
I wonder how many times. Man, maybe we're all in a simulation and they'll add it up, and the winner of whoever was able to wash COVID off their hands the most will get a prize or something like that at the end of this.
the
Anyway,
thing
all
is
expenses-
nice.
Wear masks.
All expenses paid vacation.
Wear a mask,
yes.
wash your hands.
Every
sanitize.
as it is every episode. Today's episode of Business on Top has been brought to you by Please Wear Your Damn Masks so we can go out of here and watch some baseball in 2021. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll come back next week, hopefully with pretty fun guests for y'all. Stay tuned. Stay safe.